Hello and welcome again to the channel Deathmark TV for our March of Machines deck tech for standard format, and we have today's feature, another user submitted deck list, which they name as the Mom Orzhov Reanimator by Launch Fisk. So what we mean of Orzhov is basically black and white, which means consisting of several features, but in this setup we just going to use some ETB effects as well as sort of a reanimation in these sorceries as the deck list would provide. Now for the rundown of the card types, we have 24 creatures, 4 instants, 24 lands, 8 sorceries, and we have some sideboard discussion afterwards. And of course, I have this new setup Tourney board, which I will try to reason out why this card would be very essential to add in this main deck. Now for the creature lineup, what we mean is we go with the reanimation effects. We have some of these cards that has basically in a way sort of be having ETB effects, getting value from discarding or returning cards from your graveyard. So first off, we have Fleeting Spirit. This is from Crimson Bow. This is a 2-2 cast 3-1. But this effect wherein we can discard a card, you can exile it, and then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of your end step. So in a way, it can basically dodge out removals, sweeps, effects, and just returning to the X end step would basically mean a few more of the time period wherein it cannot be killed or targeted by your opponent's spot removals. So also this is another option also wherein you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard to have it first strike. But I think the second ability is much more efficient in terms of usability and also very prudent to use because of can basically dodge off any spot removal or mass removal from your opponent. Now for your second batch of 2 drops, we have a playset of Guardians of New Benalia. This is now probably used in the most of the humans decks or the soldiers decks because of the creature type of soldier in most of the lineups in the decks deck types today, and with its ability to be able to enlist and have to scry 2 as a bonus, you can basically curb out your extra unnecessary draws and also have this one indestructible whenever you discard a card. But the only drawback is that you will need to tap it. But in terms of being the aggressor or going ahead with the board and attacking on your step, you can basically have this one still attacking and have the ability activated to be able to kill off any potential blockers. That's also of the 2 toughness. So this is also important, hence you have your 4 drops or 4 copies in the deck. Also, we have 4 copies of Intrepid Adversary. This is more of the additional pump for these valor counters that is added so that we'll be able to add a +1 counter for creatures you control. But aside from that, it would still be very efficient in the late game in terms of having this one as a pump effects rather than just having this one as a 2-drop for just a 2-drop 3-1 lifelink. Unless, of course, in dire situations where you need to cast this one, then you would have to play this one on your second turn. But more of that, we have 4 copies of this is that we make sure that we can play off early on. You can have a 4-turn adversary or a 6-turn adversary follow up in those most setup. Now for this first black creature in this lineup is the Tenacious Underdog. We have also 4 copies of this. This is also a good 2-drop in terms of 2-2 cast 3-2, but as resilience in late game with the Blitz ability where you can just pay for its Blitz cost from your graveyard and pay 2 life for the process. But with several creatures as this one that gives you lifelink, paying 2 life would not really be a drawback on this one. Next, we also have Exchange Specialist, wherein another playset is added in the deck. It has its ability that's not only a 3-2 lifelink, but it can be able to return target creature or card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So a bonus, you can basically recore more of your creatures with mana value. As you see here, we have basically a lot of them for a 12, 16, basically 16 2 drops. So at the most, you can basically have Extraction Specialist's ability trigger with a bonus that will can return those creatures with the mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. The only drawback though is that the creature cannot attack or block, but in terms that you would need to have additional board, this drawback would not really matter, as you can also just use them for other purpose, especially for their ETB effects in this kind of setup. And for the 3 drops, we have a play set of Phyrexia Dragon Engine. You can notice here that it is not basically going with the Unearth or the flip ability, but you would basically need to gain advantage with the 2/2 double strike, and has its ability that when it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So how do you have this one trigger? We have these 8 sorceries that can basically use to have those abilities possible. So we first off, we have 4 copies of the commission. You can return target artifact creature card with mana value 3 or less from graveyard to battlefield. So if it is a creature that was returned, it enters with an additional 1% counter on it. So with you targeting Phyrexia Dragon Engine from graveyard, it enters the battlefield as a 3/3 double striker and has this triggers ability that you can discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So in a way, with the aggro setup of this deck, you can basically at that time empty out your hand and have Dragon Engine ability triggers again to get you to draw 3 cards and put up another batch of gas to your hand. And along with that commission, we also have No One Left Behind. So this is more of the 2 mana cost, because its ability is the costing 3 or less if it targets a creature card with mana value 3 or less. So basically, we will see here almost that's all of them with the mana value equal to 3 or less, or 3 and 2, so that you can play No One Left Behind for only 2 mana. So you can basically return that creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So for that support, we have 8 or 4 copies of each of these 2 cards. We also have a card draw in the sense of Corrupted Conviction. So this is like a renamed Village Rites. So this is still the same ability, 1 to cast instant as an additional cost to cast the spell that suppress a creature, and then draw 2 cards. So basically, having those cards, Dragon Engine or the creatures returned by specialist sacrificed to that of Corrupted Conviction, so that we can be able to draw 2 cards as an additional also to get gas to your hand and draw to your greater threats. Now, along with the setup, that's pretty much basic on that lineup is the 24 lands. So the 24 lands is basically having plain lands with Sky Loss, Shatter Sanctum for the slow lands, and 2 copies of Takenuma for the channel lands. And last but not the least is Hostel, wherein you can basically add to have this ability to put a soul counter on it. Then if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, remove those counters, and you can have this one transform into a Creeping In. So in that dire situations, you would have this one transform into a Creeping In to be added to your threat to your board. And has this ability that whenever it attacks, you may exile a creature card from the graveyard, and if you do, its opponent loses X life, and you can X life for extra number of creature cards exiled by Creeping In. So in this example, you can have exiling those creature cards, since you are basically discarding some of them or sacrificed by the Corrupted Conviction. You can have them exiled for that one, so that we will be able to have this trigger ability for its time it attacks. So that's basically it for the main deck. For the sideboard, it pretty much again straightforward. We have a playset of Cut Down for the aggro matchups, Duress for the control in mid-range, Contra Commando also as an additional threat, maybe for the mid-range matchup, since it can basically kill off wedding announcements. Payroll the Mirror Breaker, some Phyrexian Flesh Gorger can also be killed by this one. And we have Brutal Qatar again for the mono white, I think for other white based aggro that can basically have little to no answer to that of Brutal Qatar. So having this one also is a good way to exile your opponent's creatures while getting ahead in the damage race by having more of your board presence added instead of that of your opponent. Now for the maybe board wherein I maybe recommend for this deck in the main is 2 copies of Ella's Little Core. So Ella has this ability that is a 2/2/2 for Death Touch, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you will have this gain life trigger, and also whenever a creature control dies, its opponent loses 1 life. So in that's certain situations when you have sacrificed creatures to collect the conviction, you can have this ability of losing life trigger also, and at the same time having underdog blitz ability at the end of your turn would also trigger the die ability. And we also have several creatures that has some ATB effects will also trigger Elixir Core's gain life ability. So that is basically with the 2 copies in the main deck, you can at least cut maybe 1 Fleeting Spirit or 1 Intrepid Adversary, or maybe even Tenacious Underdog to go with a replacement with the Elixir Core ability that can be also benefit and increase your chances to having your life gains and also having your opponent's life total reduced to 0. So for last setup, we have a mana curve of average of 2.44. That's between 2 and 3. As you can see here, you must basically have 2 total of 22 mana value, and for 3 mana value we have 8. For your color distribution, we have 12 for black and 20 for white, but our land producers are basically even with 15 each for black and white producers. And tokens, we have surprisingly no tokens on the setup, just pure solid non-token creatures at your disposal that you can basically have to gain advantage to your board as long as possible and be able to win from that setup. So that's basically it for this. We have this Orzhov Reanimator again. If you check this deck or you want to try this one, just click on a copy, or you can check this link for our article on Arcade Deck website, so we can have a deck list to you for you to have to your clipboard and add it to your MTG Online or MTG Arena account. So I guess that's basically it for this standard March of the Machines deck. We still have more of this as we go along, and the sets being legal to play now in the format, and we should be able to observe more of what other people are also playtesting now with the early access in the MTG Arena. So again, guys, thank you for checking this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more of this MTG content, Magic the Gathering stuff, box openings, deck techs, and other card spoilers information, and also almost all the trading card game related stuff. So that's a bit about it. Thank you for checking this video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.